readers, welcome back. So today I have something super short. It's called Out with Consequences. It's only like 120 pages and it's really easy because like they're just in little paragraphs. Well, that page had the most words probably in the entire book, but see, it's like just these super little short stories. So Out with Consequences, a journey out of Jehovah's Witnesses. So back in February, there was a special on the Oxygen Network called The Witnesses, and myself and a few other people went over to my friend Lisa's house because she is a recovering Jehovah's Witness, and we went over and had like a little watch party and talked about like everything that was happening in the show and just like her experiences and stuff like that. So actually this lady, Debbie, she was one of the people that was like talking about her story and stuff. And Lisa's like, oh my gosh, I have her book. So she's like, you should read this. It's like, okay, sure. Yeah, why not? So a little bit about Debbie's story. Her story, listening to her tell her story is just, it's insane. And you guys know that I like culty things and reading and learning about culty things. So her story starts in Houston. Her dad worked for NASA and he was like this pretty big time guy. He like invented the space compass or something. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but yeah. So her mom was like feeling lonely because he was working all the time, and you know, Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door. So she felt like that was going to be her thing to like help her fill that void. Well, they ended up moving to this really small town in Oklahoma. Okay, well, actually, let me back up. So her dad was like super against it at first, like didn't believe in it, whatever. And then something like changed and he was like, okay, yes, this is the religion. So he quit his NASA job so he could pursue being a Jehovah's Witness. I don't even know, being the exemplary Jehovah's Witness. So they moved to Oklahoma, and that's where his like family's from. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but going from this huge city of Houston to this super small town in Oklahoma was a huge like life change. So he ends up being this celebrity in the congregation because not even in the congregation, like he had a story, his like story was printed in their like newspaper. So he became pretty well known and was respected in the congregation. So she had like this big thing to live up to. Not only that, but other things. So yeah, her story is interesting. She was sexually abused by multiple people on multiple different occasions. One of them being this guy, Ronnie, who was higher up in the chain, in the hierarchy at the Jehovah's Witnesses. So everyone looked up to him and he could do no wrong. So she was abused by him mostly, as well as other people too. And she goes into, you know, the story and how they all decide to come out and whatnot. But the Jehovah's Witnesses they keep extensive records on everyone. So everyone like knew that something was happening, but no one was doing anything about it. And then when the first person decided to come out, you know, they do like I said, they use extensive records. So they have all these meetings and it's basically like depositions, but in their like sense of the word. And they don't believe in law enforcement, so they handle it all internally. Well, one of the things that happened was they had said, oh, you know, we told police about it, but, you know, they didn't want to get involved. They didn't feel that it was worthy, or I don't remember what she says exactly, but so they were convinced that it had been reported to the police and the police knew about it. And then they like themselves decided that they didn't want to get involved, which wasn't true. Police didn't know anything about it. So there's that. So she also talks about living as a closeted gay person in an organization that doesn't believe in homosexuality, along with many other things. And she talks about her 2 marriages, and then how she came to terms with actually like calling herself a gay person. She talks about being shunned, and she was shunned multiple times for indiscretions, and then the big shunning when she went to the police, and there was this custody battle with her daughter. She talks about all of that and being shunned by her parents and not talking to her parents. She hasn't talked to them for a long time, and just how now she goes out to like the store or whatever, and she sees her mom, and then her mom like leaves and waits outside until she is done with her shopping. Like, it's insane. Some of the stories might be difficult to read if that's like a trigger, so just be aware of that. The thing that I didn't like about the book was it doesn't give a lot of background information on their like Jehovah Witnesses as a whole, like their doctrines or their beliefs. So if you don't know a lot about them, then it might be hard to understand like the significance of some of these events and like what they actually mean to someone who's in the organization. But that's just something to keep in mind. I really liked her though, because she's super sarcastic and she's really funny. So like, I feel like that's how I would have written the story. Like, she's like, oh, well, you know, I've done this, but that's considered nothing because you leave a pedophile in your congregation, like some stuff like that. So I thought it was, I enjoyed reading, just like, I feel like we would have had the same cadence. But yeah, so I did this book for a couple different reasons. One, because Lisa knew that I would enjoy reading it, because I do. And 2, I have something special coming up regarding this book. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.